You ever get the feeling that history's villains are almost like too perfect?
Hmm.
Like they were practically born to be bad?
Yeah, I guess it's easier to just label people like that, right?
Right.
Heroes and villains,
Good and evil.
black and white.
Exactly. Well, today we are diving into a figure who, basically embodies that villain archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Shakespeare's Richard III.
Oh, yeah.
A scheming, murderous king,
Yeah.
described as, literally deformed. You don't get much more villainous.
He's got a reputation, that's for sure.
Yeah, but is there more to the story?
Well, that's what we're going to try to find out today.
Using Richard III's Wikipedia page as our guide,
That's right.
we're going to be separating fact from fiction,
Uh-huh.
Shakespearean style.
All right.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll have a fresh perspective on Richard III.
That's right.
Understand what Shakespeare was really doing with this play,
Mm.
and maybe even pick up some trivia to impress your friends at your next party.
You might even end up feeling a little sympathetic towards the so-called villain.
Okay, so before we get into the really interesting stuff,
Yeah.
let's set the scene.
Okay.
Richard III is the final play in Shakespeare's first tetralogy.
Which means?
That's a fancy way of saying it's the fourth play in a series of four, focusing on this period of English history.
Right.
We are smack dab in the middle of the Wars of the Roses, 15th century England, a bloody battle for the throne between the Yorks and the Lancasters.
Okay.
Talk about a dramatic backdrop.
Oh, yeah. Shifting alliances, brutal power, grabs enough intrigue to fill an entire library.
So Shakespeare had a ton of material to work with, but
Right.
he wasn't just recreating history, was he?
Yeah.
We know he probably used sources like Holinshed's Chronicles, but he also took some liberties, especially when it came to Richard.
Absolutely.
So Shakespeare was writing during the reign of the Tudors,
Right.
who, let's just say, had their own reasons for making Richard III look bad.
Yeah, definitely a vested interest.
Yeah. After all, their claim to the throne was directly linked to his downfall.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the Tudors wanted to make sure that, everyone saw Richard as this tyrant who deserved to be overthrown.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Very much so. It makes their rule a lot more legitimate if the guy before you is the ultimate villain.
Okay, so knowing that Shakespeare may be playing a little fast and loose with history, let's meet the Richard he created. And I have to say, he doesn't exactly try to hide his villainy, does he?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Right from that opening monologue, Richard tells the audience exactly what he's all about.
Yeah.
I am determined to prove a villain, he says.
Talk about setting the stage, and he
Yeah.
really lives up to that promise.
Yeah.
Richard is what you might call a Machiavellian mastermind.
Now, Machiavellian comes from Niccolò Machiavelli, a political philosopher who argued that, sometimes you have to be ruthless to get what you want.
Sound familiar?
Uh-huh.
Richard is all about manipulation, intelligence, cold-blooded ambition. He is playing the Game of Thrones, and he's playing to win no matter the cost.
And, he's really smart about using his own perceived weaknesses to his advantage.
Oh, right.
He had scoliosis,
Right.
which probably meant that he had a physical deformity,
Uh-huh.
and he plays that up,
Wow.
trying to get sympathy and using it to kind of disarm his opponents.
It's fascinating and also kind of disturbing to see how he takes what other people might consider a weakness and turns it into a weapon.
Yeah.
He gets how to play the victim,
Yeah.
how to make people underestimate him, and then bam, he strikes.
Totally. He's a master manipulator, no question.
Yeah.
And it's this complexity, this blend of, intelligence and ruthlessness
Yeah.
that makes him such a captivating character.
But as the play goes on, we see that charm kind of fade away, right?
Yeah.
As his crimes get worse,
Yeah.
he becomes more isolated, even alienated from his own family.
Right.
He loses that playful, almost seductive energy.
Yeah. There's definitely a shift.
Yeah.
It's like the weight of his actions. The consequences of everything he's done are starting to catch up with him.
Which brings us to a really interesting question. Is he really just a villain, or is there something more?
Yeah.
Some scholars even say that he could be considered an anti-hero.
Oh, that's a debate that has been going on for centuries.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the one hand, he's clever, witty, even entertaining at times.
Right.
But then again, he commits some truly horrific acts.
Shakespeare was amazing at making his villains human.
He was.
Giving them just enough depth and complexity to make you question your own judgments.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't give you easy answers.
Right.
But we have to remember we're looking at a super fictionalized version of Richard III.
Okay.
Shakespeare really played around with the historical facts, so it's important to separate the myth from the man.
Right, like all those deaths that Shakespeare says Richard was responsible for.
Uh-huh.
Was he really?
Well, his historians are still debating that today.
Oh, wow.
And it's unlikely that he was involved in every single one.
Right.
And then there's that mystery of the princes in the tower,
Oh, yeah.
those two young nephews who disappear.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what happened to them.
Right.
Richard's role in all that is still a huge question mark.
It's one of those historical puzzles that keeps us coming back for more.
Totally.
And speaking of historical embellishment, even Richard's physical deformity might be exaggerated in the play.
Right.
He had scoliosis, but
Yeah.
Shakespeare probably played up those physical differences to, make him seem even more evil.
Yeah, it all plays into that image of Richard as like twisted, both physically and morally. It's really powerful imagery, but it's not necessarily true.
So we're starting to see that the Richard III we meet in Shakespeare's play is more a product of Tudor propaganda and artistic license than a faithful representation of the actual historical figure.
Exactly.
But even as a fictional character, Richard III gives us a really powerful way to explore some timeless themes, like this idea of fate versus free will.
Yeah.
Is Richard, destined to be evil? Or does he actually make his own choices?
It's a question that comes up over and over again, right? You've got Queen Margaret, for example.
Uh-huh.
She's constantly throwing curses at Richard,
Right.
practically willing him to fail.
Right.
So it makes you wonder, is he fighting against something he can't control?
Right. And then there's this whole idea of divine punishment.
Uh-huh.
Shakespeare was writing in a time when people really believed in God's role in human affairs.
Oh, yeah.
So is Richard's downfall a result of his own actions? Or is it divine intervention?
Yeah.
God saying this is what you get.
Shakespeare definitely doesn't tell us for sure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to think about how that whole belief system may have affected the way the audience saw Richard.
Right.
Did they see him as a pawn in some big cosmic game?
It adds a whole other layer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the whole theme of power and ambition.
Of course.
Richard is willing to do anything to get that crown, even if it means betraying his family,
Right.
murdering his rivals, terrorizing the whole kingdom.
It's a classic story, right?
Yeah.
How power can corrupt even the best of us. How far would you go to get what you want?
It's a good question.
It really is.
And it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Shakespeare manages to work in some humor.
Oh, yeah. He was great at that, balancing the dark stuff with some light moments.
Yeah, like that scene where Buckingham tries to get the people of London to support Richard.
Oh, yeah.
He's practically begging them to cheer, but they just stand there, totally silent.
It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Such a good example of Shakespeare's irony.
Yeah.
You've got Richard,
The supposed son of York.
Exactly. He promised to end the winter of our discontent,
Right.
but he can't even get one person to clap for him.
Oh, the audience would have been cracking up.
For sure. And speaking of famous lines,
Yeah.
we can't forget some of Richard's most iconic quotes.
Oh, yeah. They've become part of our everyday language.
Totally. Now is the winter of our discontent.
Yeah, it's perfect. It captures the mood of the whole play.
Yeah. That sense of unrest, that desire for something better.
Right. And then there's my kingdom for a horse.
Oh, yeah. Which has basically come to mean just desperate longing.
It's amazing how those lines have become so much bigger than the play itself.
Yeah. They really have a life of their own.
Okay, now before we move on, I have to bring up something that I always find fascinating about Richard III.
Okay.
The connection to Lincoln's assassination.
Oh, yeah. Talk about a historical coincidence that gives you chills.
I know.
Yeah.
Lincoln was a huge Shakespeare fan. Richard III was one of his favorite plays.
Yeah.
And the man who assassinated him, John Wilkes Booth,
Right.
was a Shakespearean actor
Oh, wow.
who was actually known for playing both Richard
Hmm.
and get this Richmond, the man who defeats Richard in the play.
It's almost too strange to be true.
I know.
It really makes you think about the power of words. How they can still have such a powerful effect even centuries later.
Speaking of Shakespeare's mastery of language, let's talk about that opening scene. Now is the winter of our discontent.
So good. It just grabs you right from the start.
I know.
It's the perfect way to set the mood.
Right.
Shakespeare immediately shows us Richard's ambition, his cleverness, his anger at the world.
And the way he uses language to create mood and foreshadowing.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
He talks about the winter of our discontent being turned into this glorious summer by the son of York. But we know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Richard's not going to bring sunshine and roses.
Oh.
He's going to bring a storm.
Totally. Shakespeare is letting us in on the secret.
Right.
He's creating this dramatic irony where we know what's coming.
Right.
But the characters are still fooled by Richard's charm and his lies.
And speaking of charm and lies, we can't forget Richard's seduction of Lady Anne.
Oh my gosh. One of the most audacious scenes in the play.
I know.
He's hitting on her over her dead husband's coffin.
I know.
The guy he murdered.
It's crazy.
It's hard to believe.
I know.
But Shakespeare makes it work.
He does.
Richard plays on Anne's vulnerability,
Right.
her grief, her desire for revenge.
Yeah.
He manipulates her emotions, twists her words until she gives in.
It's a masterclass in manipulation.
It really is. And it makes you think about how often we see the same things happening in real life,
Yeah.
Especially in politics.
Right. It's all about persuasion.
Yeah.
Using language as like a weapon to control other people.
Right.
Richard III is almost like a warning
Yeah.
about blindly trusting what you hear.
Totally. It reminds us to think critically, question people's motives, look beyond the surface.
And it's not just Richard who's good with words.
Oh, right.
Shakespeare gives us some really incredible female characters who, even though they don't have huge roles,
Right.
show incredible strength and resilience.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth,
Yeah.
the Duchess of York, even Queen Margaret.
Right.
They all stand up to Richard in their own ways.
Yeah.
They don't let him silence them. They use their words to express their grief, their anger, their defiance.
And their words have power.
They do.
They foreshadow Richard's downfall.
Right.
They give a voice to the people who've been hurt by his ambition.
It's like Shakespeare's using these women to remind us that history isn't just about kings and battles.
Right.
It's about the people who get caught in the middle.
Exactly. And those conflicts,
Yeah.
the Wars of the Roses, they're more than just a backdrop.
Right.
They're like the driving force of the play.
Yeah.
The reason for all the ambition and the bloodshed.
And Shakespeare uses those symbols,
Yeah.
the White Rose of York and the Red Rose of Lancaster,
Right.
to represent those deep divisions and those bitter rivalries that are fueling everything.
It's not just a fight for the throne.
Nope.
It's a fight for identity, for legitimacy, for like the soul of England.
Right. And Richard, with all his ambition and his ruthlessness,
Yeah.
he becomes this symbol of all the chaos and destruction of the wars.
But even with all the bloodshed and intrigue,
Yeah.
Shakespeare reminds us of the human cost.
Yeah.
He shows us the ordinary people who get caught in the middle, the families who are torn apart,
Yeah.
the lives that are lost.
It's a reminder that history is not just about dates and battles.
Right.
It's about the human stories behind all of it.
It's easy to get caught up in all the drama,
Yeah.
the battles, the betrayals,
Right.
everyone trying to grab power.
Yeah. But Shakespeare never lets us forget about the people who get hurt.
Right.
And he does that in really subtle ways.
Yeah.
Like those scenes where Richard is haunted by the ghosts of all the people he's killed.
Yeah.
That's not just some spooky effect.
Right.
It's a powerful way to remind us about what his actions have caused.
He might think he's in control, but those ghosts are like a symbol
Right.
of all the guilt he carries.
Yeah. That psychological weight.
It's like his past is literally coming back to haunt him.
And it's such a clever way to show the audience that even a king, right?
This guy who thinks he's chosen by God
Yeah.
can't escape the consequences of what he's done.
So justice might be slow, but it's coming.
He usually does.
And it all leads up to that final battle.
Bosworth Field.
Richard, who's been so smart and calculating the whole time,
Right.
is suddenly like desperate,
Yeah.
pushed to the edge.
And that's when he says that famous line.
A horse, my kingdom for a horse.
Such a powerful image.
I know.
This guy who had it all
Right.
reduced to begging for a way out.
It's a reminder that things can change so fast.
Totally.
1 minute you're on top of the world, the next you're fighting just to survive.
And then Richard dies.
And with his death, the Wars of the Roses finally come to an end.
Right. Paving the way for the Tudors.
A new era for England.
A time of peace and stability, or at least more of it.
But as we've seen, the past doesn't just disappear.
Nope.
Richard III might be dead,
Yeah,
but his story still fascinates us.
it really does.
And that's what makes Shakespeare so amazing.
He gives us these stories and these characters that are just as relevant today as they were centuries ago.
Totally.
We see ourselves in their struggles,
Yeah.
their ambitions.
flaws.
Right? Richard might be a villain,
Yeah.
but he's also a reflection of like our own potential for both good and evil.
It's true. He makes us question what's important to us.
Yeah.
how far we would go to get what we want and what price we're willing to pay for power.
So after spending all this time with Richard III,
Yeah.
where do you stand?
Right. Do you see him as just pure evil?
A Machiavellian monster who got what was coming to him?
Or do you see something human in him?
Right. A tragic figure.
Yeah, someone who made bad choices.
Driven by ambition and circumstance.
It's a question that's been around for centuries,
I know.
and there's no easy answer.
That's what makes it so interesting.
Exactly. Shakespeare doesn't tell us what to think.
Right.
He makes us wrestle with these questions.
Yeah, the complexities of human nature.
And come to our own conclusions.
He gives us the pieces, but we have to put the puzzle together ourselves.
And sometimes the most interesting puzzles are the ones that leave us with even more questions.
So keep exploring.
Keep asking those questions.
And keep discovering all the hidden depths of Richard III and the incredible world that Shakespeare created.